Welcome to the weekly sync. Genesis Week Daily Flash, closing recap. Genesis Week 2026 closed full steam ahead. Genesis Week 2026 is now closing its announcement phase, and what a week it has been. This was not merely a consequence of drop prices and collectible, it was a roadmap moment, a community celebration, and a live demonstration of where upland is heading next. Trovemania was the great system test. Trovemania may have looked like a hunt, but underneath the surface it was something much larger. If connected troves, receipts, service structure, plant life, ownership, rewards, sparklet, uppies, genome troves, future animals, cities, and location logic. In other words, this was not just an event, this was upland testing a future gameplay layer in public. Complexity is now part of the game. Genesis Week showed that upland is no longer a simple collection of isolated features. It is becoming an ecosystem of systems, cities, structures, receipts, resource, resident, plant, animal, movement, community, and data. That creates challenge, of course, but it also creates depth, and depth is where long-term games are built. 3 cities, 1 strategic foundation. The simultaneous launch of Omaha, Florence, and Takasaki was one of the major moments of the week. This was not just a map expansion. It was the beginning of a more specialized world where geography, farming, production, and city identity may increasingly matter. Property design took a real step forward. Map Asset Collision Phase 1 also marked a meaningful shift. Players can now build more naturally around grass, plant, and property layouts, notwithstanding the fact that full staking is not live yet. This is a very strong signal for designers, urbanists, decorators, and every community trying to make its neighborhood visually coherent. Community moves closer to the game. The future Discord-powered chat experience may become one of the most important onboarding tools Upland has announced. If players can see community conversation from inside Upland, then strategy, help, culture, and daily life become easier to discover. Community is no longer just outside the game, it's moving toward the game itself. From static ownership to living properties, the 3D movement preview was one of the clearest future-facing reveals of the Genesis Week. Appeals assigned to properties, animal moving through farm and structures, plant being cared for, and neighborhood becoming visibly animated. That is the larger vision. Upland is moving from ownership to life. The white Frisian ore symbolized the week. The white Frisian horse genome trove's grand prize was more than a reward. It connected the 186th Trove's Completion Challenge, Genome Trove's Future Animal Life, and the prestige of Genesis Week into one symbolic prize. The transcript indicates 139 entries, players who collected all 186 Troves, which shows just how far some players pushed the challenge. The weekend still matters. Even though the official closing show has wrapped, Genesis Week is not fully over operationally. Prize receipts remain live until Monday, June 15 at 9 AM PT. So if you still have friend requests, sparklet shard, or DNA strand trove to convert, do not let the clock beat you. Congratulations to nominees and winners. Genesis Week also celebrated the people who make Upland more than a platform. Designers, broadcasters, builders, tool creators, organizers, collectors, strategists, and everyday contributors all help make the world feel alive. Congratulations to every nominee, every winner, and every player who worked, voice, taste, patience, spreadsheets, chaos, meme, and stubborn devotion carried this week forward. A word for the players who went all in. Special respect to everyone who truly committed to Genesis Week. The players chasing the 186 troves, sharing routes, testing receipts, helping others, tracking data, crafting under pressure, joining tours, watching shows, posting tips, and staying awake at frankly unreasonable hours. Upland events only become memorable when the community decides to make them so. This week, the community absolutely did. Thank you to the Upland team. Credit where it is due. Genesis Week 2026 was ambitious, dense, playful, and genuinely exciting. From Drove Mania to the 3-city launch, from map asset collision to Discord integration, from price receipts to 3D movement and future animal life, the team delivered a week with real substance. Not everything was simple and not everything was easy to follow, but that is often the price of building something with actual depth. The closing thoughts. Genesis Week 2026 was not just about what players collected. It was about what Upland wants to become next. More connected, more social, more strategic, more visible, more alive. And if this was the preview, then the next era of Upland could be very interesting indeed. Thank you for watching and see you next week.